Permanent Secretary for Lands and Mineral Resources, Deputy Secretary, Directors, Managers, staff of the Ministry of Lands and Mineral Resources. It was, yes, about 2 years ago that I joined the ministry. I must say with a lot of trepidation because of what I've heard, what I had heard about the ministry when I was out in government, with a lot of hope and belief in opportunities for the ministry. And I stand here today, 2 years later, very happy with the achievements that we as a team have managed to put together in the past 2 years. You've heard the Permanent Secretary talk about what we referred to as my achievements. They were not my achievements, they were yours. Under the very able leadership of the former Permanent Secretary, Mr. Mereseini, the current Permanent Secretary, Mr. Finau, the Deputy Secretary and your managers. I was only there for a bit of direction. But the work was all yours. The capacities involved were all yours. I've always stated in forums that we've had as a ministry how amazed I was at the level of expertise within the ministry. What I had heard prior to joining this ministry and what I encountered within the ministry, two very different pictures. All that was needed was the harnessing of what already existed on the ground, growing out the strengths that each of you already had. And I'm happy to see through the 2 years to where we are today, that those strengths are now out there. And I know they can be further built upon to make this ministry what I've always said in my parliamentary speeches as one of the most effective, efficient, and compassionate in government. And I know we are there and we can get better at it. What will I be taking away from the Ministry of Lands? This is not a farewell, like Permanent Secretary said. We'll still see each other, we're still part of government, and I know I'm still just an email, a phone call away to each and every one of you. The open door policy I had at the ministry, I'll keep that when I go with me. Please feel free to get in touch. If it's difficult to get in touch with me, there's my very able Assistant Ferry sitting here. Do get in touch with her. It's always a difficult time for staff, the transition to new leadership. And I know many of you will be feeling a bit scared at this time because of this transition. Don't be. Don't be. The only people who should be feeling scared at this time are those staff members who are not doing their jobs. If you're doing your job, you've got nothing to worry about. Keep doing what you're doing to the best of your ability. Your commitment, that's what's needed. Transition is not only difficult for you, it's also difficult at ministerial level. I'm going into something I've never dealt with in my entire career in the civil service. But I'm looking forward to it. New opportunities, new challenges. For you, it's a new minister coming in. He will be having the same trepidation as a new minister in a new ministry he's never served in. I urge you all to give him the same support you've given me in the past 2 years. You may not be familiar with certain aspects of state land management. You are there for that. Give him the same level of high-level advice you gave me over the 2 years. Give him the same support. Give him the same commitment. Because at the end of the day, it is not the minister you're serving. We are all serving the same customers here, each and every Fijian in this country. And these Fijians deserve the best out of each of you. I'm going into a new ministry. I'm looking forward to it. The new challenges that I will face there. That doesn't mean I'm happy to leave you. We've spent 2 years together, and I know that with a new minister coming in with a fresh perspective on state land management and rural resources, I am certain that he can take you further than where we are right now. And at the end of the day, that's all that really matters, our service to the Fijian people. I thank you all, each and every one of you, for the support you've given me. I thank you for the commitment. I thank you for the friendship. I thank you for the show of respect and regard you've paid to the office of the minister during my term of leadership. I hope that today's function will not be the end of the level of friendship and camaraderie that we have shared. Like I said, this is only a transition. I'll be living in another house. That doesn't stop you from getting in touch should you need advice, should you need an ear to listen to the issues that you may have. Before I conclude, I'd like to thank the Permanent Secretary, the directors, managers, the senior level managers. From the West, Sanjesh, is Joe here? No.
Still coming.
Manager in the West. You may not be getting emails now in the middle of the night to follow up on leases for farmers out in the rural areas. But don't be surprised that you might still get it now with my new portfolio. I only hope that I will still get responses from those of you I do email for these quick responses. Before he ended, the Permanent Secretary asked for forgiveness if any of you have ever run me. For those of you who have had the unfortunate experience of having a conversation with me, ending up with me telling them off, that's the way I am. I hold no grudges against anybody. Anything that had come up during work, I had dealt with at that time. I live with a clean heart, and I hope that you will do the same. Let me go with a clean slate. With those few words, I thank you again, and I look forward to the party until tomorrow.